Welcome to the Online Success Journey Podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey Podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 289 and you will want to subscribe right now and ensure you'll never miss the journey. The entrepreneurs that join me each week reveal the steps they took on their journey to success, and these steps reveal a path you can take as well. Today we have Birgit Yegülalp, an upcoming inspirational and motivational speaker. She's the founder and the owner of the Cheering with the Birgit podcast and offers online training and coaching programs. Hello, Birgit.
Hi, Patience. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. My audience are excited to hear your story, but just start by telling us one thing we are going to learn from you today that will help us on our journey to success.
What they're going to learn from me today? Okay, yeah. About my personal experience towards success, being free and really doing what you want to do, so that every day you jump out of bed, you think, yes, I'm here.
Wow, so I can't wait to hear about that. And let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my audience a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your own online business?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm Birgit. I originally come from the Netherlands, but my last name is Ottoman Turkish. So I come from mixed backgrounds, and I have lived in 5 different countries, well, 6, including the Netherlands. And that gives you a very interesting perspective, as you might know yourself. If you move countries, it's quite different. And I always was looking for what I really wanted to do, but at least along the way, I made the things count that I did for the experience and just to figure everything out along the way. Studies were a bachelor's in hospitality management and a master international business, which I've done in Spain actually. And I started working as a hotel manager when I was quite young. I graduated from my bachelor degree when I was 21. And yeah, I wasn't really happy there, but I did my best. I was good at it. And then I was looking, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to stay in hospitality or not? And I worked in a very good restaurant for a couple of months, and I felt like, no. And by then I wasn't very fit. I was quite ill and I didn't know what I had. After all, it wasn't anything severe. So, that was great. And I started actually working in the recruitment business as a headhunter, and I did that for 9 years. But next to that, I would always do fun jobs like going to Austria with a group, like a tour guide for some weeks, and other stuff on the side. So I did a bit on tourism, really making people happy and making them feel good. And yeah, during these 9 years, it was it was a nice experience. I worked for 3 companies, and in between, I also took 1 year to complete my master's in Spain. And yeah, still it was kind of a quest because I wasn't really happy, although I was doing quite well. And yeah, are you still with me so far? Because a lot of things happened before I arrived here, actually. And I came back actually from Spain. I wanted to come back to Amsterdam, Netherlands, where I live. And then I decided to do recruitment one more time, and I moved to London. So I stayed there for 6 months, and I started building the Dutch desk for an English headhunting firm with the eye already on opening 6 months later in Amsterdam. And that was about 2013, 2014. And that was really, really tough for me. And in the meanwhile, my father was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, and that's a blood cancer, very rare one. So I didn't want to go too far from home or do anything too wild, but it was kind of a struggle actually, because in the first year I came in with a lot of experience and people expecting a lot. but the market was quite soft and I started blaming myself and the company started blaming me too, which actually resulted in nearly being fired until I finally connected with myself and found my strength again and started fighting the matter, while other people for sure would have given up, because that's kind of nasty. If you're under performance management, that's not a place you are feeling very good about anything, and you are exhausted. But I managed, and the year after I became the top biller on the permanent desk of the Dutch office, 25 worldwide. And I was a big hit, a big success. But yeah, in the end of that year, I did really well, but my father at once started looking really bad. And then after my really good grading for that year, 1 month later, my father died. And then you're already like, okay, I think you can relate to that. I know a little bit about your background. That's really tough.
Oh, sorry. What a background.
Yeah.
What a journey. But you are here now. We just arrived.
I just arrived.
Are you in a good place now?
I am fantastic because I recovered. I went through that. I stayed at a company for a couple of years and then I felt like, yeah, I'm okay now. But what I really wanted to do all this time, what I didn't do because didn't want to be that far from home because of my father being ill. I said, well, I want to go to Australia for 3 months, travel, backpack by myself. And the company said, yeah, sure. You did so much for us. So you can go. And I said goodbye to my old desk. I already accepted a job as a manager for a new desk when coming back in. And I did come back. But on the side, I was always having a plan B because I love scuba diving. And for many years, I was already a dive master in scuba diving. So that's a professional degree and I would do it on the side. But during those 3 months, I decided to take my instructor license as well, which was quite stressful, but I passed. So I did, and backpacking. And I also made another dream come true, having my license as an open water scuba instructor. Because I always felt like, okay, if I'm really fed up or I really don't know anymore, then at least I can take some time off the serious world and go and teach scuba. And I came back in the office and after 2 months, I felt like, oh, I can't stay here anymore. I just really wanted to break free. And I did. And I contacted a friend that owns a scuba school in Greece. And I went there and I worked there for 2 years. And I fell in love with the teaching and helping people and coaching people, which I would do on my office job as well, but which was way greater because you really help people face their fears when you teach scuba diving. And yeah, I transformed that into an online business while taking it further, helping people face fears, overcome blockages so they can really live freely, because that's what I've done all my life, not knowing it, being afraid, feeling so anxious, worried, not knowing what you want, but I pulled through. And well, if anybody knows how to do it, it's me. So that's what I help people do now. And I feel really happy about that. I'm very fortunate. So that's my story, the shortest I could tell you.
Wow. Well, the good thing now you arrived, you find your really happy place, and wow, that's what counts. Okay.
Exactly.
And now you have also a podcast.
I do. Yeah. I have a podcast. That's correctly. It's a Cheering with Birgit podcast, and I just do it solo. So it actually contains the stories of my struggles and my pains and my fears and problems, and how I actually always found the solution to help and inspire other people, but also give people an idea, okay, who is she? Because I'm really opening up. So people, they resonate with me, or they won't. They think, well, she's not for me, or they do. And then people have an idea how I can help them. And now I just launched 3 episodes, the third one this week of the second season, which is more of a 3-step process, linking it towards the coaching and training that I offer online. Yeah.
Now we see you like to help people, but why do you do what you do?
Yeah, I always knew there was something that I wanted to give to the world and give to people, but I didn't know what, and I was stumbling along. And when I was teaching scuba, and actually after, when I first wanted to keep doing that, but on the way back home, I got the idea, like, I help people face fears, and I help people, they trust me with their life. and I can teach them things and they accept my teaching, and that's great. But just the eyes of people that are really afraid before they go underwater for the first time, and I explain everything, and then they come back up and they've changed, they are changed forever. They found something in themselves. They overcame their anxiety actually for the unknown, and all the things that pop into your head when you go scuba diving, because your mind is going to tell you you're dying, but obviously you're not. If you just take things easy, you're going to be very safe and fine. But people, yeah, it's a big step. And I just fell in love with how people would come out of the water and they would feel so good. And I felt that it was so heartwarming and so satisfying for me that I'm actually also helping myself by doing that, by simply giving people that experience. So that's how I came up with the idea for Cheering with Birgit, basically, to cheer them on. Do that.
You've been in business for a while now. What have you learned from business as a whole?
Whew, that's, you're never done. You always have to keep reinventing everything you do and check everything you've been doing. And you can never rest on your bones thinking everything's there and you don't have to do anything anymore, because you do, because everything changes all the time. So you need to keep changing, because if I would keep everything the same and never improve myself, basically nobody would be interested anymore, or I would lose touch with the world and what people need. Because if people don't need what I am offering, yeah, what's the point? Right?
Wow. Let's put man aside. How do you know you are successful in your new venture?
How do I know? Well, so far, all the people I've trained and coached left me a positive reference, which I also show on my social and on the website and everything. And I always actively ask for feedback along the way. And I hold a very personal coachee relationship with everybody so far. So actually from direct feedback, and I also ask that. And for me, that's the most important, that I have happy clients. And so far they are.
What are you still doing in the way you work that you just know you have to stop doing?
What do I have to stop doing? That's a very good one. Well, I'm actually now in the process that I would like to have like a virtual assistant, somebody to help me with admin and writing, because that costs me a lot of energy. I'm way better in speaking and these kind of things, and that's how I am able to show who I am. And for me, that's easy. But writing a lot of things down, or doing finance, or even writing my captions on Instagram, etc., that for me, it's really hard to tell a story in writing, way harder than speaking. So for sure, once I have the help and I've trained that person, I'm going to be relieved, because it's hard to do everything yourself, which I'm doing now.
Tell my audience about the magic moment, the day it suddenly all went right for you.
The magic moment. Well, actually, in my business, this month has been the magic moment, because although I haven't launched my new online video training, something's shifting. People are finding me and asking me to coach them. And apparently the message I'm sending out, it starts to resonate, and people start to actually ask me for one-on-one coaching or whatever, or my training programs by themselves, which is fantastic. So yeah, I did a couple of dances in my office last week, actually, and the week before. But if you say from before, I think the magic moment started when I resigned as a headhunter, and I just went to Greece and started working there. That opened me up. That made me go back to who I really was. Yeah.
What is the most dangerous belief an entrepreneur can have?
Nobody can beat them. Do you understand what I mean? If you think you are the best, but you're not actually maintaining to stay the best, like you're running a marathon and you think you're going to win and you get sloppy, somebody takes over, or you're not really, I wouldn't be really listening to my clients anymore because I think I know it all. Yeah, I think that's dangerous.
What is the most valuable thing you have ever given away?
The most valuable thing I ever given to anybody is unconditional love. And in a really hard situation for myself, when my father was dying, I was really afraid going to the house of my parents and staying with him and comforting him. But when I came in, it wasn't about me anymore. I could just completely forget myself and I would just do what he needed and I would tune in on what he needed. And because I could do that, I wasn't scared anymore. And I could actually do it, I could feel the love and the strength. And yeah, I think that was the most selfless thing I ever did, to take care of him.
How do you make yourself get back on track when something goes wrong?
I stop doing what I'm doing and I take some deep breaths because sometimes things go wrong. And if I didn't see it coming, it means I am missing something and probably I need to take a step back and take a look again at what I am doing and what I am missing. So I will stop. I will think, analyze, also feel into it, and then make a better plan, make a better planning. Sometimes I just need to take rest. That's mostly a thing because I'm exhausting myself. And then I do it better. I just get back up. I always get back up stronger by taking a step back first.
Okay, as you said, you have traveled and worked in different places, different businesses. Can anyone be an entrepreneur, or are some people more cut out for it than others?
Well, I believe everybody could be an entrepreneur, but everybody's different. And I am not sure that it would work for anybody because you need to be willing to take risk and to take full responsibility and also be able to get back up every time you fall on the floor, and it will happen. So I don't know, but I think one person is cut out better for it than the other because, yeah, it takes a lot of stamina and a lot of pulling through to get where you want to be. And it's not an easy way. And for some people, they want to do other things with their life, and they're more comfortable in just working for someone and helping them do what they do best. So, yeah.
Give us 3 top tips for anyone suffering from anxiety, fearing, I don't have my 9 to 5 job anymore. I'm going to stuck at home. I want to start something new. Everything's now online. What can you tell them and what reassurance will you give them?
First step is to accept that you're feeling that way instead of denying it. Once you do that, you can take action to do something about it or not. That's your free choice, of course. Secondly, I would absolutely recommend people to get help in any way or listen to a podcast of somebody that gives you the strength, power, inspire, or take a course, whatever is in your budget, in your ability. And really, there's always a way to figure that out. And then when you have enough ideas and inspirations, top tip number 3 is simple. It's the simplest thing in the world. Take action. Start doing something. Although you're not really sure, you just need to start moving. You have to start before you're ready. You never know until you start what's actually out there for you. I didn't know what I was going to do when I resigned my headhunter job and just went to Greece. I had no clue what I was going to do, but works out fine. You just need to start somewhere.
What is one thing that has contributed to your success?
The biggest thing that contributed to my success is stop caring what everybody thinks, because it just doesn't matter. People always have something to say about you. And when you do this, they say that. And I stopped asking for permission to do what I wanted to do. Stop asking for permission. You can give yourself permission anytime, and that's the only person that matters. And I know it's hard, but you don't have to share all your ideas with everybody, especially people you love. They just love you personally, but they don't know anything about what you're able to. They cannot see what you see. And for instance, I don't share my business idea with my mom. I don't share her anything, but she's proud of me. But when I start telling her what to do, I get so much unwanted feedback from her that's completely worthless to me, because she doesn't even understand what I do. So why listen to it? Why get in that conflict? She's my mom. She can just love me for who I am. I'm her child. That's all. You don't even have to ask your partner for permission to do everything or say anything if you feel that person is not going to support you or doesn't have the expertise. Like if it's a professional in the field that knows a lot, okay, listen. If it's a person that absolutely has no clue about your sort of business or what you want to do, don't bother what they say, really. You are the boss.
Okay, thank you. What grounds you?
What grounds me? Well, actually, I make sure that I meditate twice a day. That really grounds me and keeps me centered. Exercise, checking in with myself. Sometimes I'm a person that always likes to go really fast, but I know I have to slow down. Otherwise, I just go up in the air or I go too much in my head, which isn't a good thing. Actually, it's not really working.
Do you have a mentor or a coach in your business?
Do I have a mentor and a coach? Yeah, absolutely. I like to teach people the things that I learned from my experience. I tested it thoroughly in my life, but for me, that's so normal sometimes that I am the way I am, although most people aren't that way, that it's really good to have somebody that holds a mirror in front of you. And obviously I had mentors in how to set the basics for my business. I did a life coaching course from my mentor. And sometimes, yeah, we still speak. If I need help, an update, or have some new plans, I will ask her to help me out or advise me or to sit down with me for 1 or 2 hours, which gives me this big advantage. If I would do it myself, I would get stuck, because for me, my talents are so normal. For me, the things I'm not that good at, I might not see them. So I think mentoring or having at least a professional mirror or somebody that understands what you're doing and does that for a long time, what they do, they have a lot of experience and expertise. That's very valuable. So definitely, yeah.
What is the most valuable thing your mentor has told you?
The most valuable thing that she taught me is how good I actually am in tuning into other people, how well I read them, how well I can guide them. And for me, that was so normal that I didn't even know I was doing that. So that gave me a lot of confidence in myself. Yeah.
What is one thing no one knows about
That's a
you?
very good question. That's funny. What is one thing nobody knows about me? Whew. I'm quite open in the things I share, but I haven't shared it here. So it might be different to what I've told you so far. That I had a massive binge eating disorder. I was very much addicted to food as a teenager and in my early 20s, and that I had to overcome that. And that's actually also something I take with me in the work I do now, because I know how that works, to struggle with something so deeply. But it derived from me closing off my feelings when I was very young. When I was 12 years old, I just completely closed off. And yeah, the story behind it is quite sad. People don't know that, but it had to do with a lot of things going on at home. yeah, and that made me who I am, but it's not something that I think about every day anymore because it's just in the bag of experience, but it doesn't hurt anymore and everything's sorted out.
Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
sharing. Let's talk about your business. Tell us more
Okay,
about it.
more specifically, is there anything that you want to know for me not to go too broad?
And we want to know about your
Uh,
coaching. We want to know who can join it, how much is it? Is it a monthly payment? Is it a yearly subscription?
Okay,
Those
thank
kind
you
of
for
things.
helping me on the way. Well, the
Okay.
podcast is free for anyone. Only you have to just leave your first name and email address behind, and then you get the link. I think I gave you the details already. From that on, you can say if you resonate with me or not. Right now, I am in the process of creating a short and snappy video training, which is going to be available just for an easy access price for people to actually, well, I'm actually going to call people on their bullshit for not doing things. So that's the newest thing, but it's not there yet. I'm going to be launching it in the first week of May. So more about that later this year. Right now I offer one-on-one coaching. I have the availability for people to just book like a 20-minute Zoom call with me. And then we have a chat to see if there's a fit, what their problem is, and if I can help them. And I do that for 60 euros an hour right now. Um, but it has to be a case which we can do, and that's just on the go. Depends how much people need. I also offer the one-on-one training program, Start Before You Are Ready, for people that have different questions. They have blockages, they have fears, but they also don't know what they want and they are thinking too much and they're just really stuck. That's a program that I gave in small groups online last year. And now I'm just offering it one-on-one. And that can be done in 2 weeks, like fast pace, or in 7 weeks, depending on the pace of the coachee, of the trainee. Um, that's it for now. And after I launch the video training, calling on your bullshit, I also want to go offer workshops, webinars, and these kind of things online, but also offline if I have the availability again to do that, if the restrictions come off from meeting people in groups, etc. So yeah, definitely excited, a lot to come and to do.
We are waiting for all these things to come, but first, is this a monthly prescription? Is this a one pay fee? Of what is this?
The training, Start Before You're Ready, is just a package that you buy at once. And it's very clear on how many Zoom sessions you get. And then we make the appointments for the live sessions via Zoom. We make it by putting our calendars together in a call. For the one-on-one, this is per hour, and it's not a prescription. It's just based on what you need. For instance, some people just need once a month, once every 2 weeks, once a week, depending on their quest and how fast they are moving, how difficult it is. I also coach some women. I empower them because they also have their fears and blockages in business, because I've been a businesswoman for a long time. I still am, but in a different way. So, I mentor them like once a month to see how things went, what they bump into, how to solve that, and to take better action and decisions and not keep themselves small. So it really depends on the need of the client for that. And for that video training, it will just be, you buy it and then you have it for 1 year and then it expires. So you can just work with it for a year as long as you want. Yeah. So no yearly prescriptions or anything, but you never know in the future. But for now, it's like this.
Thank you. And where can we find all these amazing trainings?
Oh, I love your energy. Right now, you can find this on shop.birgityegülalp.com. I sent you this already. I can type it also. So there you can see more about me.
Can we find you
Yeah,
on
the
your
website
website? Where are you on the social? Come on. I think I heard you say, are you
I
on
am on
social? Are you on
Instagram.
Instagram?
Yes.
Where are you?
And my handle is very easy. It's
There you go.
@cheering with Birgit. So that's the Cheering with Birgit on Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook is the same. Cheering with Birgit, that's the Facebook page. So either Instagram or Instagram, I'm very active. Facebook as well. I almost post every day. You can follow me. I make stories, etc. So that's a lot of fun. My website is www.shop.birgityegülalp.com. Soon to be birgityegülalp.com, but it's in development. And further, I also have Pinterest. It's also at Cheering with Birgit. I have YouTube at Cheering with Birgit, but Facebook and Instagram are the best social places to find me at the moment. There's the most content, and you really can already have a sneak peek on what I do. Yeah. For the podcast, for one, I forgot one. For the podcast, if you go to my website, you will see the 20-minute video call and the podcast link. But if you want to go to the podcast itself, it's a special page, and the website is, let me see, www.subscribepage.com and then dash CWB podcast. So Cheering with Birgit podcast stands for.
All right. Thank you. There will be more from Birgit in a moment. If you are listening to this on a podcasting platform and you are encouraged by Birgit's journey, please go to our website at onlinesuccessjourney.com. The site has tons of audio clips from hundreds of successful entrepreneurs' guests' journey, all there to help you find a path to your own online success journey. The site offers exclusive members-only content, and you can join absolutely free and be part of this amazing online success community today. Check it out. That's onlinesuccessjourney.com. Now, Birgit, I love for you to share more with my audience if
Okay.
you are up for it. If your business was down to its last $100, how would you invest it?
How do I invest it? Well, basically, I would invest it all into just go all in and sell everything I got. That's the fastest way to make a positive bank account.
Is that how you're going to save your $100?
Oh well, I can also put them in cryptocurrency, but should be okay. Invest.
Okay. All right. What is the best business book you have ever read?
I'm having trouble deciding between two. Well, I think I'm going to go for Tim Ferriss, the 4-Hour Work Week. Do you know that one?
Okay.
Yeah.
4-hour work week. Yes, 4-hour work week. Do you do a 4 hours week and that's it? So we just do 4 hours this week.
No.
And then I put my feet up.
He didn't too in the beginning, but you know why I love it so much? Because he gives you an idea about how to build an online business and how to make it scalable. So I am already from the start of my business last year thinking already like, hey, if I grow and if I have a big and successful business, how can I manage everything? How can I automate things? How can I do it smart? So I start by thinking big. So I already have automated calendar. I have some automated emailing. I have automated everything. So I spend less time on those tasks and I can grow faster. And then one day when I have everything very well organized, then who knows? That's the plan. So you don't start only with 4 hours, but it's the meaning to work towards it. Would be great, right?
Wow, that's nice. I think I saw the title. I have a book. But
it's a really good book with
the
topics that you actually have a podcast about. The 4-Hour Work Week is all about scalability and doing things online because that's what he did. And he explains you how he did that. And then being able to travel the world while having a fantastic business and just checking in a couple of hours a day. But he didn't start that way, but he teaches you how to do it.
Right.
Yeah? Okay.
Yes. Yes, because I remember I read the book halfway and I'm like, This is not 4-hour week. I expected 4-hour week from the bat to go. And now this is becoming 70 hours a week, first year 100, and then the 4-hour week comes later.
Yeah,
I'm like,
this book
now,
is
let me
really
keep this book
nice.
until I'm in a
It's
4-hour
so
week.
insightful.
I can read it. I will. Thank you.
Do
I'll
it.
get
I had the
finish
same
it
when I
because I
first
didn't
started. I
finish it.
didn't
I'm
finish,
honest.
and
I did
then
not
when I
finish
was
the
in
book.
Barcelona studying, then I picked it up again because the first part of the book is really hard, and then it becomes really easy. No, I had the
I thought it was
same.
only
I
me.
stopped reading it for 4
Okay.
years, and then I picked it back up. I still have it.
Okay. If you are going to keep a note to yourself in your handbag every day, what would be
Oh,
written
that's
on
a
it?
nice question. You're full of good questions, aren't you? You can do it would be on my nose. If I ever forget, I can do whatever, anything I want, if I really want, and keep my energy good. That's the most important lesson in my life is to not lose the confidence, not let other people tell me I cannot do anything. So it would be you can do it. Yeah, I can do it in that way.
What
What
is
is
your
my
next
next
chapter?
chapter? Yeah, that's a very good one. Well, I feel really excited about everything I'm building right now, but I always say you never know. Life is full of surprises. No, I really can't say what I will. I will keep this business
Okay.
for sure. I'm in it for the long term, but it will always change. And so far, I have been able to surprise myself my whole life in what I changed and what I did and where I went. So who knows? Anything's possible.
Do you feel like you succeeded or
Do I
like
feel
you're
like
only on
I
the way?
Well, I'm on the way to something bigger. That's how I feel. I just started doing this. And definitely there's a lot more to come. I can feel that. Um, but you don't get from A to Z in one day. But my ambitions are absolutely bigger than what I'm doing right now. But I started at the start. But I hope one day to be really speaking also for big groups and help them and inspire them. That would be really, really cool.
Remind us how we can connect
Instagram
with you once
handle
more.
at Cheering with Birgit, the Facebook page Cheering with Birgit as well. Those are the best two channels, or www.shop.birgityegülalp.com.
Birgit, it's been great to have you here to share your
Thank
online
you so
success
much,
journey
Casey,
with us.
for the possibility to do so. It's been great being in your podcast. Thank you.
Thank you. That's a wrap. Remember, success is a journey. Patience and Birgit.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to Patience and her guest and want you to know there are hundreds of episodes available at onlinesuccessjourney.com. Patience would like to thank you for listening to the podcast, and she has a free gift for you on our website, including an audio compilation of her guests' best tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. Additionally, there are special clips of over 250 episodes that have never aired on the podcast, and they're only available to members of the Online Success Journey. Check the website and click on Join Now to get free and instant access. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps each of us chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed on your favorite platform to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review the podcast at iTunes and other sites. We appreciate your help and your willingness to share your journey. One last thing. If you're feeling a bit lost or overwhelmed on your own journey, Patience can help. Check out her course on clarity while you're at the website. Finding clarity is a great way to get back on the right path. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.